Hey everybody, it's Robyn and welcome to my channel. Today on the Robyn's Nest, I have this cool little Yeti cake to share with all of you based on the movie Smallfoot. I really enjoyed making this one. It was super simple and really fun. So let's get right into it. So today we're starting out with a pre-crumb coated cake, as you guys can see. This one's a 6-inch triple layer, and I've already gone ahead and stacked and filled, crumb coated and chilled my cake. And now it's ready for a final coat of icing. So I'm just slathering on a nice generous amount of this blue American buttercream, and I've just colored this with a little bit of AmeriColor Royal Blue. So we're going to bring that blue to about 2/3 of the way up the side of the cake, and you're just going to leave a nice raw edge at the top there. And then we're going to switch over to our white vanilla American buttercream, and we're just going to add a nice thick layer on the top, and we're going to bring that also down the sides to meet up with the blue. And don't worry about those colors blending together because we want them to. I want it to have a bit of a gradient effect. So next I'm going to take my small offset spatula here, and we're just going to give it a nice squiggle all the way around the cake to join those two colors together. Then I'm going to grab my bench scraper and we're going to get to smoothing, and this is going to look super cool. I hope you guys really enjoy this technique as much as I do. It's super fun and it's so useful. I'm able to use this on so many cakes for so many applications, so I hope it's just as handy for you. And for anyone who would like to show their appreciation, YouTube has actually come up with a cute new feature called Super Thanks. You can now send an amount anywhere from $5 to $50 to the Robyn's Nest, and it will go towards all sorts of great caking stuff and utensils, and probably some camera equipment too, because I'm actually down a camera and I want to be able to keep making cakes for you guys for a long time to come. So rest assured, you'll be helping my channel grow. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Alright, so now that our top is smooth, it's off to the fridge with our cake and on to some decorations we go. So the first thing we're going to make is some snowflakes. And we're going to be using a fondant cutter to make this job nice and simple. Now I know a lot of you would not use the word simple to describe this cutter, but I can help you make it a lot easier. So first of all, you're going to use Tylose powder to help your fondant dry quicker. And 2, you're going to allow your fondant some time to dry before you start cutting out your shapes, because dry fondant equals less sticky fondant, and that's going to help keep it from gumming up your cutter. So I hope this tip was helpful for you and you have an easier time working with cutters in the future. Alright, so up next we have our Yeti Migo. So we're going to do this in a flat cake topper style, but we're going to do it in a little bit of a 3D style. We're going to build it up in a couple layers so it has a little bit of dimension, so it's not just flat and boring. So to begin, using my stencil, I've marked off and then cut out the shape of our design, which is his upper body, his head, and his arm. And I'm also cutting out a second piece, which is his head, and we're going to layer that on top of the first piece, giving it that dimension I was talking about. Now, once I get that stuck into place, we're going to grab one of our Dresden tools, and this is actually a veining Dresden tool that we're going to use. And we're just going to mark off where his arm is supposed to go. And you're going to want to give it a little bit of texture to make it look like he has fur. And you can also use the tip of that tool to do the same thing around the edge of the face to give him a bit of a beard. Now we're just going to continue to use that same technique all over to give him a nice fur coat before moving on to some of the finer details in the face. So for the mouth, I thought it would be fun to do some embossing. So we're just using the very tip of our Dresden tool, and we're just poking in the fondant all the way around the teeth, sort of making them protrude. Now for the hair, he has a nice little coif, so we're going to use some tiny little snake shapes to build up that little flip in the front, because he has a nice hairdo. Then after we finish that, we're going to give him some horns. And while we're working on the blue, we are going to cut out his hand, which is supposed to be waving at you. So using my stencil, I'm just marking off the design, and then I'm going to use my X-Acto knife to cut it out. And once I do, you're going to notice the edges are a little bit rough, so I'm just going to use the tips of my fingers to sort of smooth it out, and then we can get it stuck into place. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is stick it to the back side of our topper using just a tiny little bit of water, and then we're going to give it a few minutes to dry while we work on the rest of the face. So while we have our blue out, I'm just going to go ahead and give him some little blue eyebrows, and we're also going to give him some blue lips too. Now, as you guys can see, I added the blue lips first, then I tried to paint the inside of the mouth black, and that just didn't work out very well. So trust me when I say paint the black, then add the blue lips after. You will thank me, because fixing that was a pain, let me tell you. Alright, now just to add some big yellow eyes to finish this up, and we'll also be adding some little blue irises with little black pupils to complete the look. And now it's time to add some supports. So what we're going to do is roll out another piece of fondant, and we're going to cut out the shape of our Yeti and place a couple of toothpicks on that and roll them down really good into the fondant before taking our topper, which we've created, and placing that right on top, sandwiching those sticks in between the two pieces of fondant and trimming away any excess that we don't need anymore. And those two pieces of fondant should fuse together nicely because that bottom piece is freshly rolled and still nice and sticky, so you shouldn't need any water unless you think you absolutely need to. So with our topper finished and now set off to the side to dry, we are going to make some mountains of snow. So to make these, I just rolled out a big long piece of white fondant, allowed it to dry for about 10 to 15 minutes so it's a little bit less sticky to work with, and then I took my X-Acto knife, cut one straight line on one side, and then cut a whole bunch of squiggles on the other side to create those mountains of snow. And then I just stuck it on the cake using a little bit of pressure. And as they say, Bob's your uncle. Have you guys heard that one before? Because I'm not sure why or who Bob is, but I guess that means we're almost done. I just have one more cute little decorating technique I want to show you guys, and then we can finish adding everything to our cake and I can show you the finished result. So as you guys can see, I'm making these cute little trees, and all you do is make a little tiny cone shape, and using a pair of fine tip scissors, cut all these little tiny branches to create your tree. And it's just that simple, and they are so sweet. So we're just going to make a few more of these and some tiny little snowballs to spread around the entire cake. And now we're going to finish it off with our topper, the birthday boy's age, and a little piece of ribbon around our cake board, and then our cake is complete. Well, that is it for today, guys. I hope you all think the cake turned out super sweet, and I hope everything was really simple and easy for you guys to follow so you can create your own sweet little masterpiece. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell, or send us a super thanks. We would be so grateful. See you on the next one.